Did you move out of Austin?
I have a house in Austin still that I'm like renovating, and then I don't know what I'll do. If someone will rent it, I'll rent it. I think I'll be able to rent it to like a family.
You own the house.
I own it. It should go to like
what a
family.
mistake that was.
It was the biggest. I made so many mistakes in my life, and this was a huge mistake.
Why did you relocate to Texas?
Well, Joe Rogan moved down there and he said, I'm opening a comedy club and just do it for like a year and see what happens. And it was like at that point, it was a good pitch because I went, well, LA, there's like nothing going on. And I've never lived anywhere except New York and LA. So I thought it'd be very interesting for the show. And for me, I'm like, maybe I can meet people down there easier. LA's weird. And like, and then I went to Austin and I've been like kind of very public about how I feel like it is maybe the worst city in America. And I found that out very quickly. And I have no beef with Texas outside of Austin. I just
The rest of it's fine.
The rest of it's whatever. Like, I don't want to live it. Like, there's a time in my life I maybe would have, or in the future, like, I could see, like, I don't think I can do it, like, living in a place that takes itself so seriously.
I think we talked about Austin when I was on your podcast, but maybe for our listeners, can you recap what it is that you hate about Austin?
Austin, well, right now, number one, it's what people hated about it, Hillary Clinton. It's like the feeling of inevitability, the idea that like this is gonna be something. To me, it just drives me mad. The idea that I like people like places like LA because they're quite obviously past their peak.
Yeah.
And there's something refreshing and, as you said earlier, kind of liberating about that. Austin, there's this tremendous pressure to live up to this narrative that's built around Austin that it's going to be the greatest city ever. And it has none of the ingredients that would make a city great. All of the people there are C and D level people. I mean, including the stars that live there. Like even like I obviously like McConaughey and Bullock or whatever, but like after that, it's a huge drop off.
Who else lives in Austin?
Yeah,
Jared Padalecki from Supernatural on the WB. Right, Ben? He's like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so right after Bullock, it's him. And he's like the third. Yeah, I mean, the food is disgusting. I mean, it smells like barbecue. So there's something offensive about it always smelling like mesquite. Like I'm from Long Island. It doesn't always smell like clams. Like there's something weird about just your olfactory senses being assaulted every minute by the one thing they're able to do correctly, which is like, roast meat.
Yeah.
And
well, it's a big drinking city too.
It's very drunk.
I can't imagine being sober there.
It's if I was drunk, I would have left sooner. Like people keep saying that. I'm like, no. Like I would have left sooner. Like to me, the downtown is very small. It's very uninspiring. There's nothing. It's not the live music capital. I hate bad liars, and I love good ones. And Austin's a bad liar. Austin says we're the live music. New York's a great liar. Come here, it's the best. And you come here, you're like, it kind of is, but no, and that's fine. But Austin's a bad liar because we're the live music capital of the world. It has nothing to suggest that, other than a few heroin addicts busking with guitars on 6th Street.
Well, South by Southwest.
Is
the crown jewel.
Well, yeah, and that's where all the
that's all that you need to know basically about Austin. That's their pinnacle of achievement. But the bad liars lie to themselves, and good liars lie to others.
That's right.
That's
brilliantly right.
But it does not preclude the fact that bad liars are often very effective liars.
They're very effective, and what I don't like about Austin is that you're getting lied to, and so to live there, you have to go along with it, and then you have to become brainwashed, or you have to then leave. I'm unable to be brainwashed by a city that has none of the things that I think a city should have. It doesn't have any culture. I mean, like nothing. Like there's nothing going on.
Wait, are there high rises in Austin?
There's a few of them.
A city should have. Are there high rises in LA? I still don't know this.
Yeah, there's a few. There's a ton of high rises in LA. But the other problem I have with Austin is the people are all like a very carbon copy, similar type of young, white Converse sneaker.
Are they still wearing flannel shirts?
It's not really that anymore. It's kind of tech bro-y. And then like we sat down, we were eating at Neptune Oyster Bar in Boston, and the couple next to us was like an Austin couple, and they had like a conversation you would imagine they would have. Like they were like, she's like, I like Tim Robinson, and the guy's like, I don't really get it. And she's like, I know you don't. She's like, you're not supposed to get it. He goes, he like bothers me. She goes, that's the point. Like They were having this discussion back and forth. I wanted to kill them. I wanted to kill myself. But that's what Austin is. It's these like very basic, generic types of people that really should be in a church. There's no other way to put it. You should be in a mega church. I want to drag you out of that coffee house and put you in a mega church because that you should just be having babies and like staring at the sun. There's no room for you in the world of people that have thoughts and ideas at all.
Yeah.
It's gross.
I picture Austin being a bunch of like medium shirt tech bros walking around nervously and like girls with like cupcake chest plates.
And it's like the ones that the mediocre ones that aren't in Palo Alto. It's like the ones without a dream. The ones that are like, who wants to start my own company? You know? You know, like they're like, I like kind of this mid-tier shit living. I mean, it's watching, you know, there's obviously got to be there's a middle class of everything to a degree, even though it's whatever. That's where the middle class of tech is going to be awesome. There's nothing because tech people are horrible people anyway.
Yeah.
The only thing that saves them is that they're intelligent and successful. The idea that there'd be a middle class of tech and I would live anywhere near it is scary to me.
So does that mean that you now split your time?
Well, yeah, I'm going
LA
back
and
to
tour?
gotta get out of
the
there.
IRS. I love Texas for 180 days this year, and I've been there statistically, I believe 150 something, and I will be there 100. So this year I'll be there 183 days because I love it and it's my home. But I have an apartment in Los Angeles. I'm excited to kind of go back to a city that is very quite obviously past its prime, a state that's rapidly disintegrating. I feel much more comfortable there. I feel like the people there are it's much better to have been great and have everything fall. It's like Grisabella and Cats. You know, Cats, she comes out and sings Memories. It's the best song of the show, but she's like a disgusting pig of a cat.
Yeah.
Like she has like whatever disease they get. But she comes out again and sings Memories.
Mange.
And mange, yeah, whatever. Leprosy, cat, leprosy, feline AIDS.
Yeah,
And
she
comes
looks
out,
awful.
She looks horrible, but it's the most memorable song because you're like, oh, you know, back in the day it made sense.
Yeah, she once had it all, and yeah.
Yes, and now nothing. So, but it's the highlight of the show, and that to me is Los Angeles. It's a dirty old cat that was almost Larry Elder.
I lived in LA for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I can't even, we're going.
Do you hate it?
We're going. Yeah.
I do, because I was just so downtrodden there
Yes.
that when I go back, I'm like, oh yeah, I still feel worthless.
Yes.
Here. And it feels like the city like reminds
Well, you do have
of
to
it.
adopt a sociopathy in LA. Which
Or like a lobotomy.
You have to adopt that. There's no way to do it as a feeling organism.
And in New York and in DC, I think I
Yes.
said this to you before, but the thing with Austin is that all these people from like New York and LA think it's so refreshing because they don't have to compete for once and they can breathe a sigh of relief.
That's right.
And they're like, isn't this
Pathetic.
quaint?
Yeah. Ooh, they have the best chicken sandwich.
I also don't like
Chips
food
on
like
it.
food truck culture. I never liked.
too.
I don't like it. I don't like eating out of a Dodge Durango. I don't like waiting on a line. I don't like people talking to each other while we're waiting for something. I don't like people sharing tips with
I don't
each
like
other.
a donut with something like kind of different about it.
Yeah, I hate that. I just, to me, I don't. It's too close to carnival culture to me, and it shares a lot of the same type of origins. Is like, why not just go to a fair? It's people that are like, they think it's better than a corn dog on a stick, but it's really not. A brisket taco in a parking lot to me is just a candy apple at a fair. There's nothing really different about it.
Well, it's more perverted because you're like in a parking lot.
Right. Or whatever. It's like, to me, I never got into it. There's one barbecue place called La Barbecue. It's run by two very severe lesbians. And all Texas barbecue is like Succession. It's all families.
Yeah.
Because in order to get barbecue really right, you have to be raised.
You have like a recipe.
Yes, it has to be like in your blood. So it's like Succession except with brisket. And it is kind of cool to see like the feuds and the breakups and the way they split up and the way they will like try to tar each other's names and like defame each other's potato salad. But there's something very interesting and also sad about that's the most interesting thing in the city is the, you know, like Miss Vicky's House of Brisket, you know, has like an internal issue and then they have to split up into two houses of brisket.
So if anybody wants to buy Tim's house.
Yeah.
on that note.
If you wanna buy
Any of
it,
our
hit me
broke
up.
He needs
and
to be
indigent
there
listeners.
180
Yeah,
days of
if
the
you want to
year,
buy, because
though.
by the way, other than everything I've said, it's lovely.
How many bedrooms?
3. It's a 3-2, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It's got a pool. It's got a guest house.
Oh,
It's
cool.
2 acres.
That's nice.
You get acres there. They just give you acres.
Yeah.
You get to have an acre, which sounds nice, but then you got
is
Well,
Austin-
Rogan likes it because he can do his ISO tank stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Rogan's house is beautiful. I mean, he's got one of the best piece of real estate in Texas. I mean, it's gorgeous.
Rogan's basically like the Osama bin Laden of podcasting, right? Like
Yeah.
he has his own compound with like multiple wives and kids, and he just like lives
Yes.
in secrecy.
Networks.
Yeah,
Yes.
he waits for the CIA to like pop up and kill him. I think he'd be happy anywhere. Also, he seems like a nice enough guy who would find a way to persevere.
He's a good dude, and he's I love him to death. He knows the way I feel about it, and I've been honest with him about it. And I've said, when you open a club, I'll come down here and work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't vibe with.
He'll be the bouncer.
I don't vibe. I don't vibe with this city.
It's not. You're a metropolitan homosexual.
Yeah,
man.
it's also like
Can't
every
be-
gay guy that I've met in Austin is literally like one gay guy I went on a date with to the crepe place, and we went. Yeah, and it's lovely. And then we went there, and he went. This was a direct quote. He goes, "When I told my parents I was gay, they tried to do an exorcism on me, but I didn't care. I was high as shit." So that's kind of the people that you're dealing with there. It's a little scary, but
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a question about that we were briefly talking about earlier about like audiences. Like you were
Yes.
saying that the New York comedy audiences suck.
now they're too
Now.
rich. They're too like into themselves.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like wasting their time. It's not really political. Like everyone's like, is it political? I don't even know if it's political. Like it just seems like I think you need a diversity of classes and people that like, you need like blue collar people, you need working class people, you need like all kinds of different, because people relate to things in very different ways. And what's really cool about comedy is that we're supposed to like figure out what's the broadest way we can reach people with a very unique personal or whatever idea. And in New York, it just feels like I'm staring at the same couple that has been like Gremlins, like you got them wet after midnight, and it's the same exact people. And it never used to be like that, like years and years ago, but it's just becoming more and more homogenous.
Did you do stand up while you were here at this?
I haven't done it this time. I did it last time. I headlined Caroline's. The audiences are still good. They're still very good. They're not like, I don't know if I would say they suck, but like, dude, you have more fun in places that are like just, Philly or Cleveland or Tampa or Ohio, or places where people are like, yeah, we know it kind of sucks. And like, we're really happy that there's a show to go to, as opposed to people that are all like the stars of their own movies, living their own dream. And like, you're a stop on their night. You're like a stop. The show's like a stop on their night of fulfilling their every wish and desire, which is why they live in New York, to make every dream they've ever had come true.
And still not be happy.
And still not be happy. They're living exclusively for themselves, and they will come and hear your spiel. In the midst of all of that, to me, it just feels like there's a lot of, their heads are, I don't know, they're too busy or too crowded.
And it doesn't fill that void that you were describing.
Yeah, it's like when
earlier
people
for-
come out in Cleveland to see you, they're like, this is our night, and we're having an investment in having fun.
Yeah.
And in New York, people are just there's like, which is why you get good here, because it's more demanding and challenging. But it's also why after a while you're kind of like, this is annoying.
Yeah.
Did you start doing comedy in New York?
I started here, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you turned
get
out
good,
okay.
You get good here, and it's not like I love, like I also hated Irvine, California. I hated Orange County, and there a lot of my fans were there, but it was like I just hated them too.
That
Where
makes sense.
I like Detroit. I had so much fun in Detroit. I like areas. I need an area to have real problems to get on board with what I'm doing.